Jessica from Peace Love Books, and today I'm here with a video all about books I've been obsessed with lately. I haven't done this in about a month and I have a pretty good list. They are not all 5 stars, but some of them are really close to being 5 stars, and I just really love the reading experience, so I'm going to recommend it to you. And the first one's actually a little bit of a spoiler for a reading vlog I have coming soon. I will not tell you the topic of the reading vlog, but I will tell you this book definitely took me by surprise. It's a fantasy romance and I've seen so many mixed things, and I don't think I'm as obsessed as my mutuals on YouTube are, because some of them, I read it because some of them absolutely love it, and that is When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. This one is definitely interesting. I can see why some people have a hard time reading it because it does definitely have prettier writing. I did not think it was distracting. I read it pretty quickly because the chapters are so short. There's like 80 chapters in here, so the chapters are no longer than like 10 pages each, and it went by really fast. But I do think that there was a little bit of confusion in some parts of the plot for me, but overall I thought this was so unique as a romance, and the setup between the hero and heroine was definitely really interesting. Like, the reveals were very cleverly placed, I feel, and I was like, did I know that this whole time? Was I supposed to know that this whole time? So, and I feel like you like immediately got it like a second before it was revealed, and you're like, wait a second, and then something was revealed. So I really like that. This one is a fantasy romance about our heroine who is in the beginning working as kind of like a vigilante and trying to take out bad guys, and then she meets this guy and things go from there. That's really all I can say about this plot. It's definitely a world you have to get used to because there's different names for different things. We have dragons that are called moons, I want to say, and like different things can happen, and it was a little confusing, but overall I flew through this book. It is almost 700 pages and I finished it in like not even 5 days. I just really enjoyed this one, and I can see why people love it, but I'm like, where's book 2? Do we know when book 2 is coming out? Because I need it. And I have a romance that recently released from when this video is going up. I am pre-filming, but Forbidden King by Laura Pavlov. First of all, this audiobook, so good. I've listened to, I think, this entire series on audio. They're amazing. I always end up flying through these books. I read half of this on a road trip when I went to pick up Tori when she visited Ohio. I had about an hour and a half drive to go get her, so I listened to this. It's a friends to lovers romance, but really brother's best friend romance. So her brother is part of this like really adorable group of guys who are all best friends, and they're all getting, I call them adorable just because we get their group chats and I love them, but they're like small town men. And so we had all of them have their own books, so I'm assuming her brother's gonna get a book. He's a firefighter. He's not getting the next book though, so I wonder if they're saving him for last. But we have our heroine who's opening a bookstore in their small town, and she is really good friends with her brother's best friend because he really helped her when they were growing up, like getting rid of nightmares and stuff. So he would actually like literally they would sleep in the same bed and they would really confide in each other, but nothing ever went like beyond friendship when they were younger. But now they're older and he's helping her build her bookstore, and obviously like they have chemistry. It is so good, and I will say Beefcake is like the little kid of the group because his dad is one of the friends of the group. He is the best character and I love him in every single book, and this epilogue had me tearing up. And I don't like epilogues, but I could not get enough of these characters, and I'm so excited for the next book. And if you really like a childhood friends to lovers, it's definitely forbidden because her brother would not want them to be together, so he's very protective because it's always been him and his sister because they went through a tragedy when they were younger. But this is so good, please read it. Then what ended up being my favorite read of last month was The Dixon Rule by Elle Kennedy. Please know there's on-page assault in here, so that is a very big part of the plot, especially for the second half of the book. The heroine was dating a guy, they broke up, but he is not leaving her alone, and her new neighbor is this guy who's been sleeping around with the cheer squad, and she's like, stay away from my cheerleaders, I don't like you. It starts out enemies to lovers, and he just likes to push her buttons, and they end up having a fake date because she wants her ex to like leave her alone, and he has an ex that he's not over, but she has a new boyfriend, and so he's like, I gotta show her I've moved on. So they start fake dating, and it is so good, but it's definitely very serious in the second half. We have very serious things happen. There's her dealing with this abuse that she's dealt with at the hands of her ex, and he's going through a lot, so it does get serious, which which is not surprising for Elle Kennedy because she does that in a couple of the off-campus books too. But I love this spinoff series so much. I'm obsessed, and I give this 5 stars. I cannot recommend it more. Then I do have this paperback, but it's at the bottom of that big stack, and I don't want to get it down. But Photo Finish, I have read this before, but I re-listened to it by audiobook, and the audiobook just released, and I love it. And these new covers are growing on me, and I kind of want them, but I don't need them because I already have like 1,000,001 copies of Elsie Silver's books. I have 3 sets of the Chestnut Spring series. I don't need more sets of the Gold Rush Ranch series, but A Photo Finish is so good. We have a very grumpy hero, and we have our heroine who's a jockey, and her and the hero have a past that didn't end well, and one of them ghosted the other one. And so now she has to move in with the hero because she is injured. She gets injured riding her horse, and she needs to have a first level bedroom so she can't do the stairs while she's recovering. And so his is the only place that she can do that, so she has to move in with him while she's recovering. They butt heads. It takes place on a farm. There's a cute horse involved, and he ends up being more vulnerable with her, even though he's really closed off. He is a veteran, and this was so good. There's something in here too I wish I could tell you, but it's definitely a spoiler that I think makes this book even like more special, so check this one out if you haven't yet. Then I have a couple historicals. So I do have Worth Any Price by Lisa Kleypas. I'm actually also going to be filming favorite historicals of the year so far, and 2 of these actually fall on that category. Worth Any Price is A Marriage of Convenience. This one's part of the Bow Street Runners series. It's book 3, and I would definitely recommend reading the first 2 because you get to see those characters, and I feel like it just makes them all more endearing. So he is the brother of Lady Sophia from Lady Sophia's Lover, and she married like the head of the Bow Street Runners. So our hero went through a lot in his younger years. I forget how old he was, but he was in prison and things happened, and he's done bad things. And so now he has to kind of like do penance, I guess, for society, and he has to be a Bow Street Runner. So he is doing things as like the police do, and he has to track down this woman for this guy who says it's his runaway betrothed, and that's our heroine. She is hiding out at this estate, who is actually also a character of a different series by Lisa Kleypas, which I didn't know until we had our book club meeting and people told me. I was like, oh, cool. I didn't know that because I don't remember character names, but I do remember his book. So this one, the heroine is hiding out there, and they have like a scandalous party, and she's flirting with this guy, and they're really getting along, and then she figures out that he is there because he is searching for her on behalf of her betrothed, who she does not want to marry because he is a horrible guy. But her parents have basically raised her to marry him. So then the hero's like, listen, I'm not like a bad person. I'm not going to give you to him. She's like, well, what are my options? And it's like, marry the guy who is the estate she's on, or marry him. So she decides to marry him. So it's A Marriage of Convenience. It is so good. Definitely very angsty, and I just loved this so much, and it made me just miss Lisa Kleypas and her writing. Then the other historical I have is His Forbidden Touch by Shelley Thacker. I was the only one who loved this for historical hellions, but this one is a kind of like bodyguard romance where the hero was best friends with her brother, but he died when this rival kingdom was attacking them, and they lost. So now they have been taken over, and she has to go marry the king of this other kingdom, and the hero is hired by her father to escort her there, and he is her brother's best friend, and he has been exiled for a few years, so he's just very damaged and mad at the world, and he is taking her and have to be like only one bed. They have to pretend that they're married at this inn, only one horse. Like there's so much in here, and I loved it. They obviously fall in love on this journey, and they're trying to stay and survive because people are coming after them. Lots of action adventure. I was obsessed, so please read this if you're at all interested. And look, it's got a really cute step back on the back cover. Then the next one is one that I just like really enjoyed. It is something that I had a lot of fun reading, and I think you'll especially love it in the fall when you read it, and that's Spookily Yours by Jen Chipman. This one is just so fun. It's a paranormal romance. The heroine's a witch. She just doesn't really know where her life is going, but she works at a bakery with her sister, and there is a cat, and she just lost her familiar, so she goes in to adopt this other cat that she saw, and it ends up being a demon trapped in a cat's body because he was cursed, and that's actually our love interest. So he can speak to her, and she is like, what is happening? He's like, can you help me break this curse? So she helps him, and he is there for a specific reason that's a secret, and it could be a betrayal to her, so he doesn't want her to find out, and then they spend more time together, and they're falling in love. And I had so much fun reading this book, and it set up the next one so well, which comes out this fall. It's going to be the perfect book. I think it's Marriage of Convenience, but it has to do with another demon, so they're just so fun and so fast. I flew through it, and it made me want fall so badly. So if you want a really good spooky spicy, just cozy paranormal romance, read this one. And the last one I have is also another paranormal, but it's Why Choose, and that is Deal with the Demon by Kay Lorraine and Meg Ann. I listened to this on audio. Highly recommend the audiobooks. Every character voices their own parts, which is really not normal for a book with a huge cast. So we have 4 narrators, and it's Why Choose with our heroine and 3 guys, and well, 4. So 5 narrators. There's 4 guys. I don't know who the romance is going to be with. This is a series. The heroine is running away from an abusive husband, so she makes a deal with this guy and a deal with a demon. So she makes a deal with a demon to escape, and this demon's like, you're literally my, like, mine forever. And so he's obsessed with her. But then she makes this deal with this kind of like vigilante guy, and he gives her a new identity and gets her a job with his acquaintances. They know each other in a certain way. And she gets a job at a bar, and twins own that bar, so it's her romance with the vigilante and the twins, so like those 3 guys, but then also this demon's still obsessed with her and she's still meeting with him. So I don't know the deal with this demon, if he's like going to be part of the romance later on, but it's Why Choose, so she has a relationship with all 4 of the guys, and I really enjoyed this. It was fun watching all of them fall for her. It's definitely very much enclosed to the bar though, and so we don't have a ton of world building until the end, when we see like, oh, there's like dangerous situations happening and we have to confront this danger. But overall, I had a lot of fun reading this, and I'm really excited to continue the series. And those are some romances I am currently obsessed with at the moment. Let me know what you're currently obsessed with. I would love to hear, and let me know if you've read these and what your thoughts on them were. And that's all I have. As always, thank you so much for watching, and have a good day. Bye.